This is the story of a proud prince, a humble beggar, and a lesson that changed everything. Watch till the end, because this might just change the way you see life. In a grand kingdom filled with golden palaces, silk-lined halls, and endless feasts, there lived a young prince named Adrian. Adrian had everything: wealth, power, and luxury. But despite all that, he was arrogant, selfish, and blind to the struggles of others. One day, as he rode through the kingdom on his magnificent horse, he noticed a blind beggar sitting by the roadside, holding out a hand for help. With a smirk, Adrian stopped and looked down at him. "How pathetic," the prince scoffed. "You must have done nothing in your life to deserve such misery." The beggar, an old man with a gentle face, simply smiled and replied, "Wealth is not measured in gold, my prince. One day you may see the truth." Adrian laughed mockingly. A blind man speaking of seeing the truth? How amusing! He tossed a single coin at the beggar's feet and rode away, still chuckling. But that night, everything changed. When Adrian awoke the next morning, something was terribly wrong. He opened his eyes, but saw only darkness. Panicked, he stumbled out of bed, calling for his servants, but no one came. Then he realized his golden palace was gone. The luxurious bed, the fine clothes, the riches, everything had disappeared. Adrian was no longer a prince. He was blind and alone. He stumbled through the streets, his hands feeling the rough walls, his feet stepping into mud. The same villagers who once bowed before him now ignored him, just as he had ignored the beggar. For the first time in his life, he felt fear, hunger, and helplessness. "Please, someone help me," he whispered, but the world was silent. After wandering for hours, Adrian collapsed on the same roadside where the blind beggar once sat. And then, he heard a familiar voice. "We meet again, my prince." Adrian turned toward the sound. It was the blind beggar. For the first time, Adrian's voice was filled with desperation. "Please, help me. I can't see. I have nothing." The beggar sat beside him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now you understand," the old man said softly. "Wealth is not about what you own, but how you see the world." Tears streamed down Adrian's face. He finally understood. The beggar took Adrian's hand and led him through the city. "Let me teach you how to live without sight, but with true vision." For weeks, Adrian lived as a blind man. He learned to listen, to feel, to depend on kindness. And most importantly, he learned humility. Then one day, just as mysteriously as it had vanished, his sight returned. But Adrian was no longer the same man. When Adrian returned to the palace, he was no longer arrogant and blind to the struggles of others. Instead, he used his wealth and power to help the people of his kingdom, especially the poor and disabled. He searched for the beggar, wanting to thank him, but the old man had vanished, leaving behind only his words. The richest man is not the one who owns the most, but the one who gives the most. This story teaches us that wealth is not about gold or power. It's about kindness, wisdom, and how we treat others. A selfish heart is the poorest of all, but a giving heart is richer than any king. If this story inspired you, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more powerful life lessons. Because sometimes life must take everything from us, just to show us what truly matters. See you in the next story.